Hello! So you've got yourself a Stratocaster and a string's broke, or you just need to replace your string. So what should we do here? Now, the reason why I'm doing a specific video on the Stratocaster is a lot of guitars use different systems for their bridge, and therefore restringing certain different models of guitars can be a little bit different. This model is specifically for Stratocasters, or specifically Stratocasters with vibrato units. So what do you need? First off, you need yourself a new set of strings, doesn't matter what gauge, use what you like, and a set of wire cutters. Now for extras here, you can also have cleaning implements and a string winder if you fancy being a bit lazy. I've also got a pencil. I'll explain what I'm going to use that for in a second. So really, you don't want to get yourself to the point where you break a string. Once you break a string, don't replace a single string, replace the lot. Because at that level, once one goes, the others are living on borrowed time. And you don't want to be going out and buying single strings, replacing them, and single string, replacing them. Get rid of the lot. Really, you should be replacing strings a bit more frequently, and I'm going to listen to my advice here for the next time I do this one, because I've left it a little bit too long without restring, and you restring them far more frequently. Let's start, first things first. We want to get rid of our old strings. Now, that's where Mr. Stiffy Sips comes in handy, but we don't want to just go straight in and snap. Basically, it'll ping back at you. It's not very pleasant. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the headstock, and we're going to start just loosening all those strings. Now we've got the strings all nice and loose. Now this guitar has vintage style tuners, just based on the Clouson design. If you have these, what we can do at this point, once you've got it loose enough, is just pull the strings right out of the top, tighten this on, and there you go. So if you've got the more modern style tuner, where it's sealed at the top and you get a hole in the centre, then what we want to do next, we want to snip the strings. So I'm just going to pull the rest of these out, and then we'll get to that point next. Right, now I've got all our strings nice and loose, we want to cut them off. Now the reason we're still going to cut them, in case you've been wondering, is we have these loopy ends. Assuming you're using vintage tuners, if you're using more modern tuners, you should have already snipped, or we're going to snip them now, and then the same rule will generally apply. Because we need to get them to actually go through the socket here to come out the other end. So, with them loose, we're just going to take our wire cutters and snip them all off. Oh, that big one's fighting me. There we are. Now, we want to wrap these up nicely, so we have somewhere. So we can put them away safely. Now we can bin these, or you can, if you have the ability to recycle them, then earn yourself some brownie points, save the planet, all that stuff. Now, we're going to flip it over onto the back. So, this is what the back of your Stratocaster will look like. Now, depending on how you have your bridge set up, the holes in the actual vibrato block here should line up with the holes for the plate. If they do not, then you'll need to remove this by unscrewing all 6 screws. Now, a lot of people actually insist that it's better to have it off, and some people will just, for convenience sake, have it off all the time. It's up to you. We're going to do some with, some without. So what we want to do is we want to grab a string. I'm going to grab the low E string and let's try and push it through. Oh, there we are. Right. Now, they can be a bit stiff, but you push it through and you'll see we've got it coming through. But for the rest, we're going to take this off just to show you a little bit more closely what's going on under here. Right, just so you can see a bit more what's going on under here, taking this off. So, same as before, we're just pushing it through this end, get them to unseat. Oh, that one wants to come through. We won't argue there. And getting it to come through. And once you've done all this, I want to take the rest out. We're done with all of this. We're almost ready to start restringing. And now we've got all our strings off, like I said, we've just got one more thing to do before we put the strings back on, and that is clean your guitar. Make sure to clean around the bridge, around the pickups, so a lot of these have been obstructed by the strings, and all along the fretboard, and we'll get all the grime off. So we're going to clean our guitar next, then it will come back. Now I'm just going to make one other point before we restring. This is just for people who use their whammy bar or their vibrato arm. If you don't, then just skip ahead. So if you do use it, what you want to do next is you want to lubricate your guitar's nut. So we come back over to the headstock here. Now just a quick layman's guide to this. Basically, so that your guitar doesn't go out of tune so easily when you're doing lots of bending or vibrato or using your whammy bar, you want there to be as little friction as possible between the actual tuning pegs and the bridge itself. Now, when the string goes through the nuts slots, it can occasionally get snagged when you're bending, so if you can make that lubricated, it'll go better. Now you can buy lubricant, or you can just use graphite from a pencil. And that's what I like to do. So it's quite literally, you just over sharpen your pencil and you colour in the slots. It seems balmy, but it's as simple as that. So I'm going to give this one a sharpen. So you basically over sharpen it and make sure you fill in the slots so they're nice and full of graphite. Now let's get the actual strings on. So we're going to get our strings out now. I like to use my wire cutters to also do this part. And what you want to do is you want to separate them all so you have them in the right order. Because the last thing you want to do is be sitting there thinking, oh, is this my B string or is this my E string? Now, I'm going to go from thickest first. We're going to start with our E string. Now, I'm going to show you it first off as if we were to keep the cover on the back. So, I'm going to put this back on in a second. Just as we got things through, we're going to get things out. So you find the hole and push it through. Now, like I said, with this in the way, it can be done. It just becomes a little bit awkward sometimes. So there you go, that's lined up. So, stop on here is going to be my E string. I'm going to push it through. I'm going to hold it up, and we should see it, there we are, coming out the other end. So I'm just going to pull the rest of the string all the way through. Now I've got to check on the ball end in the back, because it might snag a bit if you're going to do it with this still on, depending how you have your bridge set up. That went in perfectly. And then we come right over here, and we're going to go up to the headstock. Now these are the vintage style top loader Clousson style tuners. If you were to use the other ones, you want to follow quite a similar guide to this. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to cut a length of the string first, then feed it through. So for the Clousson style tuner, what people tend to do is they like to measure it up to about, so that's the tuning peg we're going to go to, about the second one. I always go just a little bit further and cut. And that's the point of no return. So what you do is you pop it right in the top there and get it to go into the hole. There we are. Beautifully go around. I'm going to bend it over and around. Just going to give myself a bit more space here to play with. Adjust as you need to. And I've just put a bend in it. And now, this hand holding it, I want to hold this string down. You want it to wind nice. You don't want to have the windings overlapping each other, go up and down. I want it to be nice and smooth. And there we are. And one other item I forgot to mention right at the start, a tuner, something to tune the guitar with. Now, we want to tune every time we stick a new string on. So we'll C sharp right now. Let's get up to E. Now, you may notice when you first tune your guitar that it'll start going out of tune quite easily. What you need to do is we need to stretch the strings out. This goes in way of doing it. Constant tuning. So let's do the next string with the back plate completely off. So I have my A string here, and this way it'll just look a little bit cleaner, a little bit neater. But exact same method, put it right through, and then I'm just going to turn it over around and pull her out. With this you just don't really have the possibility of it catching. And then right up at the top, same as before, measure it out for one, and I always like to do a little bit. Cut, position, in, bend it around nicely, and start tuning. So what about when we get to the string trees? Let's have a look at that next. Here we are. So I've already gone through the trouble of putting my D string through. I've already got it cut. Now, with the string trees, they need to go underneath that point. Now, occasionally you might get ones where they look a little bit different, but it's always the same. You want to go under these parts not over them. What it's doing is it's causing a break angle. Long story short, this just simply helps with actually getting the guitar, getting these strings to be at the proper tension, stay in tune. So what you can do, some people like to pretend it's not there to begin with. So same as before, in the top and around, or if you're using a more modern one, you go through and then underneath rather than in the top. Some people think it's a better system. I personally prefer these vintage ones. And now you can either start tuning with it over the top to begin with, or, as I said before, keep it low, and I keep it underneath that part of the string tree. So we're going to just wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up. While doing this, I just want to add one more thing in. If you have chosen to take your back plate off, unless you plan on keeping it off indefinitely, make sure that you keep your screws in a safe place where you can find them easily. Last thing you want to do is be losing a screw. So, slowly you'll feel this start to ease up, and you can slot the string into the actual socket on the nut, or the slot on the nut, and just tune it all up. And if I just show you, you'll see that we have them wrapped all underneath each other, nice and neat. So, simply repeat the process for the next strings, and I'll see you on the other side. Right, so we're almost done here. All you need to do now is get the strings properly stretched. So, got your strings on, got your guitar tuned. Now, you should have been tuning as you went, so every time you got a string on, tune it. Then, next string on, tune both its previous strings. You'll probably notice your guitar slipping out of tune very easily. Now, a little trick for this is to do what's called string stretch. And you do this once you got the guitar, and basically it gets the whole string stretching, going out of tune, stretching, going out of tune process sped up a little bit. So I hook my fingers under the strings, and I just pull it all the way to the top. And I'm going to do this for all 6 strings. It kind of hurts on the higher ones a bit, but you know, no pain, no gain, eh? So once you get this all done in, our guitar will be lovely and out of tune. Relatively. And then we're going to tune it again. Now, what I recommend after that is go play guitar. And it'll go out of tune a little bit, tune it again, go out of tune it again, go out of tune it again. And it'll stop going out of tune. And you'll have your Stratocaster nice and in tune. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please like, share and subscribe. And until next time, goodbye.